That's a tough question. He's asking, do I have a formula, 1, 2, 3, that will get you into the ideal man? And I don't. Of course, George has talked about the whole issue about self-control, especially because we are under pressure. Let me repeat 3 things, but I've said so before. The first one is that you must sort out the definition of success. What is success to you? Because the reason why you have pressure is because you are not clear how to define your success. If you know what success is, then some people will be driving a better car, but that's not your measure of success, so it will not bother you. Somebody else will buy a house in a better place, but it will not bother you, because that's not within your definition of success. Find success, and success is simply realizing the vision that God has given you and operating at your full potential. That's what success is. So if your full potential is not similar to somebody else's, it doesn't bother you, because God created you different. So that's the first thing to if you really want to be an ideal man, is to stop the rat race. I keep saying the rat race is a very bad thing, because when you win it, you are a rat. Because after all, it's called a rat race. So it's very, very, very important that. So to me, that's the first thing that has helped me. When I learned, I don't have to. I'm not competing. I'm not competing with anybody. So the first thing is definition of success. The second one is, I've already referred to it, is understanding the futility of comparison, futility of comparing yourself. And also you have to pray that your spouse is weaned out of that comparison game. But even if your wife has that comparison, you shouldn't go into it. Comparison game is bad for 3 reasons. Number 1, because there will always be somebody better than you. Therefore, you will never reach a level of contentment. Because when your friend has a car, then you get a car, another friend, different one, will get a better car than yours. So what you felt was an achievement is not an achievement. Yet you know God blessed you to have given you that car. But because you are comparing, and God has given a better car to somebody else, you are in trouble. So you need to understand that for you to be the ideal man, you must win yourself out of that comparison. Number 1, because there will always be somebody better than you. Number 2, because you don't even know the calling of the other person you're comparing yourself. Maybe you think he's doing well, but he's operating outside of God's directions. You see, for example, somebody buy a better car, and maybe he has just inherited from his uncle. It's not his money. The uncle left him with the car, and he's not bound to tell you. So it's a useless thing, because in the end, you don't know enough to be able to compare yourself with others. And thirdly, because if you compare yourself with others, you tend to move away from your calling in order to achieve what they are doing. My third point and last is that whole issue of prayer. You need to know that one of the area you must never fail is the issue of you and God. Whatever happens, if good things happen, refuse to stop your spiritual disciplines. Because the more you are close to God, the more you affect your view of life. And the more you end up being in the center of His will, and therefore realizing His vision and calling, and therefore you'll be a success. So it will be very important. Like I said, those 3 quiet times, one with yourself, the other one with your spouse, and the last one with your children, is something you must give yourself and listen to God. And don't just be hearer, but doer. Those are 3 things that help me, and I hope they can help others. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John. I hope that is clear. Professor, some closing remarks before we take some time to pray?
Yes, I can answer. I think what John has said is quite correct, quite appropriate, in the sense that comparisons as a problem, because I like seeing myself as in God's eye and favor. Where I am is like where somebody else is in God's favor. So mine is really nothing to do with how well people are doing. God bless them. I think that's an important thing, because comparison has a problem of being a little dissatisfied for those who are doing better. It's a kind of jealousy. We sometimes think of comparison where we are thinking of people better than us. What we forget is sometimes we compare ourselves with others who are not doing as well. And our thought towards them is not exactly generous. And that's not good either. So I think let's be in God's will so that we can flow as God enables us. I like what John says, don't compare and don't follow other people's trends. I think my wife keeps reminding me, we got into our house after many of our friends got their own house after 3 years of marriage. It took time, but whenever we are going, there was a problem here or there. We didn't have the capacity to do that. Some of us are endowed differently. We have resources differently. But please, wherever you are, God is with you and He will enable you to fulfill your purposes. And the other thing I thought I ought to suggest is the issue about busy and being under pressure during this particular time. I have a feeling that it will never be easier any time. And if you lived at a time which was older, there are pressures then, but different. What I would suggest is that maybe find out what you need to be pushing you. If it's not acceptable, if it's not godly, then don't be pushed by it. Allow God to direct you so that you operate comfortably. Things may be pressurizing you in the sense that you need to achieve them, but you are not under distress. And the distress is the one that says you must. Really, it's not that you must. Do it as you are able, because God is with you, and God is sovereign. Sometimes you may not seem like succeeding, but God will help you. So I think, as John has said, don't compare. Don't compare, and link up with God, because He will define what your special place is. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I will, with John's permission, send you the notes. Those who are in the Daddyhood WhatsApp group, I can forward if you're not.